Madam President, I'm delighted to rise today in full support of Katherine Tai, President Biden's nominee to be our next U.S. trade representative. As my colleagues are well aware, trade is an issue that impacts every corner of our country and indeed every corner of our globe. Madam President, roughly 75%, listen to 75% of the world's purchasing power and over 95% of the world's consumers lie outside of our borders, lie outside of our country's borders. If the United States is going to continue to be successful, we need to be able to tap into those markets and expand trading opportunities while ensuring a level playing field for American businesses, and I might say for American consumers as well. In Delaware, the first state, and throughout our nation, trade policies affect how American businesses, both large and small, be they financial services, tech companies, workers, farmers, manufacturers, can compete in the global economy. But thanks to President Trump's haphazard trade wars over the last 4 years, American farmers, manufacturers, producers, and consumers too often have been left hanging in the balance, a situation that has been exacerbated by this pandemic. Now more than ever, all of them are in need of greater certainty and of predictability. For the last 30, 40 years that I've served as Delaware's treasurer, congressman, governor, and senator, when I ask businesses what they want and need, more often than not they see certainty and predictability. And for the last 4 years, we've had too little of both. Instead of the chaotic approach of the last 4 years, we need strategic and thoughtful trade policies. That's why President Biden has nominated Katherine Tai, an experienced public servant and trade expert, to serve as our nation's top trade official. Katherine will be a steady hand at the U.S. Trade Rep's office. And as a key member of the Biden administration, she will make sure that our trade policies benefit all Americans and leave no one behind. She will work hard to help jumpstart our economy and ensure that American goods and services can reach international markets and that we can compete on a level playing field. Madam President, Katherine comes to this role with an exceptional breadth and depth of relevant trade expertise. She's earned a remarkable reputation as an expert in her field and as a leader who is respected by Democrats and Republicans alike, in this chamber and in the House of Representatives. In her previous role, Katherine was Chief Trade Counsel for the House Ways and Means Committee. There, she was the lead negotiator on the USMCA, Mexico, Canada, America Trade Agreement, which notably passed Congress with an overwhelming bipartisan support, in no small part because of her efforts. Members of my own staff were grateful for the opportunity to work with Katherine to secure historically strong environmental provisions, including new monitoring enforcement tools in the USMCA, which will help make sure alleged environmental violations will be investigated and remedied in a timely manner. These new tools and resources will help ensure that environmental protections are not just words on a piece of paper, but policies will actually be put into practice and consistently maintained well into the future. As chairman of both the Environment and Public Works Committee and the Finance Subcommittee on International Trade, I look forward to working with my colleagues, with Katherine Tai and her team, to build on the progress that was made in USMCA. Madam President, another immense trade challenge that we face now is to effectively counter China's unfair trade practices and its expanding influence in international trade. Since joining the World Trade Organization, the WTO, in 2001, China has proven to be a bad actor time and again. I believe that working with our allies in the Pacific Rim in a spirit similar to the Trans-Pacific Partnership, we can more effectively ensure that China adheres to its trade commitments with us and with the rest of the world. Katherine has the expertise to help make that happen. Her prior experience as the U.S. Trade Rep Chief Counsel for China Trade Enforcement, where she led efforts to hold China accountable at the WTO for its unfair trade practices. That's going to prove to be a tremendous asset for our nation. Madam President, we'd be lucky to have Katherine Tai, a committed public servant, represent our nation on the world stage. As the daughter of immigrants and the first woman of color to be nominated to serve as our U.S. trade rep, Katherine often cites her parents, also both public servants, as her inspiration. In her testimony to the Finance Committee that I serve on, Madam President, Katherine said, and I want to quote her, here's what she said. She said, "I'm proud," speaking of her parents, "I'm proud of their service to our nation, a nation that welcomed them. And I'm proud to live in a country where in just one generation, their daughter could grow up to represent the United States and our interest around the globe." Close quote. Those are her words. I too am proud to serve in a country where this is possible. Madam President, simply put, Katherine has decades of experience in trade, years of experience working in a bipartisan fashion, and a keen understanding of the role Congress can play alongside the administration to implement successful trade policies. As the world grapples with the greatest economic downturn since the Great Depression, it's more important now than ever to have a leader at the U.S. Trade Rep's office who will work with Congress to advance a trade agenda that uplifts American workers in every corner of our country, spurs domestic manufacturing, and improves environmental and labor standards throughout the world. Given Katherine's track record and many years of experience working across the aisle in Congress, Madam President, I'm confident that she has the broad support necessary to be a highly skilled and effective U.S. trade representative as she takes on the many trade challenges that we face. And I invite my colleagues to join me in voting to confirm Katherine Tai to serve as our next trade representative.